There we go. Double click the button there. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome in. We have some breaking severe weather coverage for you guys this afternoon here on May 9th, 2026. Hopefully you guys can hear me all. First and foremost, hit that like button as we get started. We got a severe thunderstorm warning now in effect. It's our first of the afternoon here on May 9th, and it is for Oakland County. We'll go ahead and read off the details first and foremost and quickly get into the radar because we can see a pocket of wind moving in right now. So the National Weather Service in Detroit, Pontiac has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Oakland County in southeastern Michigan until 3 o'clock. At 2:03, a severe thunderstorm was located over Holly, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Hazard is 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Instead of hail, it is wind. It is radar indicated. Roof damage, siding damage, and tree damage is all possible with this thunderstorm. This will be near Ortonville and Clarkston here in the next 5 minutes, give or take. We also have Pontiac and Oxford around 2:20 and Rochester around 2:30. Other locations impacted by a severe thunderstorm include Rochester Hills, Lakeville, Davisburg, Holly State Recreation Area, Leonard, Rose Center, Lake Orion, Auburn Hills, Lake Angeles, and Waterford. For your protection, move to interior room on the lowest floor of the building. Again, it's 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and you can see exactly where that is located right now. It just passed through downtown Holly. This pocket of wind here, we're showing you guys velocity radar right now. And what we're looking at on velocity radar is where the greens are changing to our cyans, the blues, and again, that's where you start to see these 60-mile-per-hour winds. And the radar site is located right here in Clarkston, so this is very, very close to the radar. And you can see right here on Radley Lake Road, just to the north of Terrace Road, that is your pocket of wind right there. So it just passed through downtown Holly. It's now about a mile and a quarter to the southeast. And this is, again, clearing off to the southeast, heading towards downtown Clarkston. And eventually the radar site, again, anywhere in this orange box is in that severe thunderstorm warning here as of 2:07 on May 9th. Again, make sure when you are watching this stream, make sure that time at the bottom of the screen is lined up with what the time is at your neck of the woods. Other than that, though, we zoom out, take a look at our basic reflectivity. We were watching the storm that was rolling through Genesee County earlier. This was producing a lot of hail across the Swartz Creek, Flint, and Burton areas, tracking right down 69. This is now through Lapeer and heading towards Imlay City. That is a cell that needs to be monitored here in the coming minutes for perhaps severe hail instead of severe wind. If we take a look at the wind radar, we can kind of give you an idea that it is just a little bit less gusty there. On our velocity radar, again, as the winds are moving away from the radar, they change from your greens to your reds. And so in this case, the wind direction is now away from the radar site located down here in Clarkston, up here in Imlay City. And so in this case up here in Imlay City, we'd be looking for brighter reds, changing over to our oranges and yellows. So that is what we're looking at right now. Lapeer County, but especially this severe thunderstorm warning for damaging winds, potentially up to 60 miles per hour moving in towards Clarkston and Waterford right now. And again, time is 2:09 p.m. Also, a couple storms down the line here in Brighton and Pinckney in Livingston County, just passed through Howell, and these are growing upscale as well. These are also all located along a cold front this afternoon, which is going to continue to boost lift and help these storms continue to grow upscale in nature. And again, we do expect at least maybe 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 more severe thunderstorm warnings along this line as this line eventually moves in towards southwest Ontario. So if you know anyone downstream from this line of storms over here on the southeast side of the state, these are where these storms are heading next. So think Port Huron, all the way down here into the Mount Clemens area, Macomb County, downtown Detroit, all the way down towards Lenawee, Monroe County. Once this line of storms does develop a little bit further south, those would be moving in towards there. But right now, the main concern is in northern Oakland County, where we do have some severe winds moving in. And in fact, we do have a secondary cell now popping up with perhaps more of a hail risk here on the south side of our severe thunderstorm warning. You can usually tell by looking at correlation coefficient. However, I believe we're having a tough time kind of determining this because it is actually so close to the radar that we can't see the full picture of all of our elevation in the radar or in the storm itself. But again, we're looking for what would be some hints of yellows and perhaps even some greens in our correlation coefficient, and we can kind of see them right in here, right on the edge of the storm. That would be where you have non-meteorological objects tumbling around the atmosphere. That would be hail. Anything in blue here, that is called ground clutter. That is nothing to be concerned about. That's just because the radar is very sensitive right down at the surface, and so it picks up on all the bugs and the birds and the vegetation out there today. So again, this has been forecasted here since the start of the weekend, especially since it's starting as early as Thursday for severe weather in southeast Michigan. Greens have come together. We have a lot of instability out there this afternoon. Very steep lapse rates. Again, we're looking at lapse rates of 9 degrees Celsius per kilometer or greater. To give you guys an idea of what that means, that is the change of temperature with height. So think of it is 70 degrees Fahrenheit at the surface. You go up maybe a mile into the atmosphere, and it is about 55 degrees or something like that. It's a rough estimate there, of course. But again, when you get that change in temperature with height very, very rapidly, it cools down very, very rapidly. And all that cold air that is sitting in the updrafts of these thunderstorms, allowing for storms to produce hail. And some of it could be large in nature today. Again, the mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center does denote that hail could be as large as ping pong ball sized hail, which would be 1.75 inches in diameter. So again, back on reflectivity radar here, which is the intensity of the rain that's falling, you can see there's a lot of red and a lot of pink on this cell just south of Holly. Again, the wind is kind of all without this entire line of cells from Ortonville down here towards the Milford area inside of this orange box. But when we're looking at these reds and even these pinks, dark grays, and even blacks on the reflectivity radar, that is a sign that these rain droplets are very large. And again, when you get those very large rain droplets, it's really easy for those very large rain droplets to become super cool in nature and eventually turn into hail. So we have to watch this cell very, very closely as it moves towards downtown Clarkston for primarily right now the wind. But as you can see on base reflectivity radar, that's a lot of large rain droplets coming down directly on Ranch Road at Milford Road, and that is going to continue to move off to the east-southeast. So again, Clarkston, Oxford, Lake Orion, Waterford, Rochester Hills, Auburn Hills, all inside of this orange polygon. That is your severe thunderstorm warning. If you're in southern Oakland County, good news for you guys, you're not in a severe thunderstorm warning yet. But again, take note, this is in the vicinity of you guys. You should be on alert, especially for the lightning aspect of these storms today. There's a lot of lightning, as you can see in this cell particularly, that just popped up in that Ranch Road area, especially near Rose Center Road heading towards Clarkston. So whether or not you get severe out there today, again, we have a lot of instability out there, as I mentioned. So that is your storm fuel component. And with that storm fuel that we have out there today, not only do we see a hail and a wind risk, but of course, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, which is nature's leading killer. So once you hear thunder, go indoors, stay indoors. Golden rule usually is wait 30 minutes until you last see lightning or hear thunder before resuming outdoor activities. And again, that info could be used widely across anywhere you go in the United States. And again, it could help someone out. So keep that in the back of your head, whether or not you are affected by storms today or not. 30 minutes after the last lightning strike or thunder rumble occurs is a good rule of thumb. We do have a radar update now. Latest scan does move this cell, or series of cells, I should say, very, very close to the radar site. Actually, I would say probably about 2 miles now from the radar site here, heading right down Schaefer Road. The pocket of wind now has been distributed to more of that southern cell, which is kind of what we're watching here on radar. And again, Eagle Road right now at, it's all Eagle Road here. Eagle Road at Ranch Road is the center of the cell at the current time and within a 3 square mile radius. That is your cell. That is what we're watching moving in towards Clarkston right now on a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, if you know anyone downstream here in Clarkston, Lake Orion, Rochester Hills, good idea to send this stream over to them. Let them know we're going to be tracking this road by road as this cell moves through Oakland County. And we got you covered from beginning to end as always here at MSC. We'll be tracking these storms until they leave over into Canada. And once this cold front moves through, colder temperatures and some gusty winds are moving in. They won't be severe, of course, but again, it's just kind of a swap from what we've been experiencing so far today on this rather nice Saturday afternoon. But again, cold weather does return once this cold front moves through. And you can kind of eyeball it here as I zoom out on radar where that cold front runs through. It's primarily from the Huron County area all the way down through Lapeer, Flint, through the Lansing area, Eaton. It's kind of actually where this pocket of showers is at. This pocket of showers behind this line, not really a concern, but that is where the cold front is at. These storms in front of the cold front are what we need to be watching for severe weather this afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and pop in on our stream ops. There we go. I see Ryan's in the background today. Also, I've been informed that the warning has been upgraded. So that is now for 1-inch hail as well, which is a good indicator there. Good job by the National Weather Service to kind of add that to the text. So there's now 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail possible with the severe thunderstorm warning. As a reminder, that is the bare minimum for severe thunderstorm warning to be issued. If you get below 1 inch, that's strong hail, but not severe. If you get below 60-mile-per-hour winds, that is strong winds, not severe winds. So these are both. This is severe now for both hail and wind if you're just tuning in. And if you know anybody in northern Oakland County, this is heading their way. Long term, this would be heading towards Macomb County eventually as this cell continues on. And we're probably going to see these cells kind of blossom up and down throughout the afternoon. So the main cell right now may be in Oakland County, but as you can see, there's a multitude of cells popping up all the way down through southeastern Livingston, northern Washtenaw. And we do expect some development down here in Jackson County along the southern flank of this line. And that could produce some strong to severe weather as it moves in towards downtown Detroit. So southern Oakland County, Wayne, Washtenaw, and even towards Monroe County with time. Current time right now, 12:17. Getting a lot of lightning out there today. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northern Oakland. And this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 3 p.m. against 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. And it is moving off to the east at around 45 miles per hour. So it's a decent clip. We should still have time to take shelter. If you are in this path of this severe thunderstorm, you should be taking shelter away from any exterior walls. That way wind-driven hail or wind in general does not bring down trees and hailstones through your windows or exterior walls, of course, if possible. And if you do need to relocate to shelter, now is a good time to do so. Again, it's hail and wind at the current time. Core of the storm right now on Schaefer Road still at Hillsborough Road. And again, heading towards Crosby Lake Road right now. Again, this is very, very close to the National Weather Service office here in Clarkston. In fact, we're going to probably see this storm move directly over the radar, which does prompt its own issues here in terms of hopefully the radar doesn't get struck by lightning. That could cause it to go down. The wind could also take out the power. There's a multitude of factors here that could result in us losing our radar data in just a moment. But again, if you are in Clarkston, Waterford, downstream towards Auburn Hills, this is heading straight for you guys right now in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Current time, of course, 2:18 in the afternoon. This is the only severe thunderstorm warning in the state. If you are behind this line of storms off to the west, you guys are in the clear for tonight. Some showers and thunderstorms are still possible this evening, but at the current time, we do not expect those to be severe. To the north, a lot of lightning up here. St. Clair, Sanilac counties, these storms are not severe. However, I would not be surprised if it is producing some pea-sized hail. Specifically, if I pause the radar here, there's a couple cells that kind of bring my attention here. We've got Port Sanilac. That is one cell that could be producing some pea-sized hail. Also down here, the cell that was in Lapeer County has now moved over into St. Clair County now, heading towards Yale, so in the vicinity of Collins Road. K-Pac and Imlay City right now, that could also be another cell producing some pea-sized hail. Again, pea-sized hail is not severe in nature, but it is strong hail, technically speaking, because they will issue special weather statements for it. Real quick. Yeah, please keep chat to no spam, please, and no swearing. Keep it family friendly. Otherwise, our moderators will take action. Thank you guys very much for understanding. Cell now is over the radar site. In fact, we have lightning striking down within meters of the radar site. Very, very close to the tower there at the current time. I'm gonna go ahead and see if we have any of our chasers live right now. It's gonna have me move some things around behind the scenes here, just to make sure the whole process. Give me just a second. We do have Mike in there. Okay, we'll put Mike live, and we'll have Tyler as I think Tyler's going to be out there as well at some point, but at the current time he is not. So we do have Mike out there right now. He can get his cam up. Is in Tecumseh. Looks like it's on M52 there. Kind of waiting. No views of the storms at the current time, but we'll have his cam up in the top right corner of the screen in case something does appear. So while we wait for the storm to go over the radar, again, Clarkston, Waterford, this is heading into your neck of the woods right now or within the next 2 to 3 minutes. Downtown Pontiac may be clipped by this severe thunderstorm warning. In fact, you can see the orange box right now. It clips portions of northern downtown Pontiac, but not central and southern. The orange box is very well rounded here in terms of where the storm is actually going to track. So if you're south of this orange box, you're not technically in that severe thunderstorm warning as I alluded to here earlier in the stream, but you should be on alert because this whole line of storms is producing hail today, gusty winds, and of course frequent cloud to ground lightning. So go ahead and loop this whole line of storms through for you guys. Overall, it's going to be a low risk day, so not a whole lot to worry about. Just make sure to take shelter when these storms do impact your area. It's primarily just a hail and wind risk today. Chances of tornadoes are 1% or less. So we are here tracking these storms as they move through southeast Michigan. It's a southeast Michigan only event this afternoon, and we should clear out by the time sunset comes around tonight. Some of you guys may get a good sunset, especially back far and beyond the cold front. So think West Michigan, Northwest Michigan, even the UP. Could see a couple showers and storms later tonight, but mixed in with a decent sunset out there. And that is what we're watching at the current time. Severe thunderstorm warning has been trimmed. So good news for Holly and technically Ortonville, kind of, sort of. You're outside of that orange box. Ortonville, you are technically still in it, but the storm is completely beyond you guys right now. So you guys are in the all clear in Ortonville. Obviously, Genesee County is no longer being affected by any storms at all. So you guys are good back there as well. But this severe thunderstorm warning does continue, and it does say 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. It has been downgraded again, I think. Looking at the update here. The 222 update says, yeah, it's back down to penny-sized hail. So they've dropped the hail size back down to 0.75 inches in diameter. However, the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts do remain. So this is very quickly approaching the M24 corridor. It already is in Oxford, but Lake Orion down to Pontiac and Auburn Hills is up next. You guys have a little bit of time to get to shelter if you have any outdoor events, especially. Now is that time. Again, if you're in that orange box, you should be taking this quite seriously. Because again, severe thunderstorm is a severe thunderstorm. Whether it's hail, wind, or lightning, it will cause damage. So again, if you are in this orange box you see on your screen in northern Oakland County, especially northeastern Oakland County now is your time to be taking shelter. The center of this core, and you can see this, guys, for yourself, that is a lot of lightning popping up on radar to the point where it's almost shielding what you can see in terms of our reflectivity radar right here in downtown Clarkston. And again, this is directly on US 24 at the current time. So it's also tracking straight down I-75 as well. So again, if you are being impacted by wind or hail on any roadway, make sure to pull off the roadway as far as possible. And of course, protect your head or eyes from any sort of flying debris or, of course, hail breaking windows or windshields at this current time. Wind is now over the radar. We still have our radar up, so good news there. Colliding. No, okay. These winds right now look to be at least subsevere for the time being. But there are a couple pockets in here of 45 to 50 mile per hour winds still showing up on reflectivity, or on our velocity radar, excuse me, for this storm. I'm also getting a bunch of comments behind the scenes saying that the notifications were not pushed for YouTube. So if you know someone that frequently watches on YouTube that is in this severe thunderstorm warning area, it appears that YouTube did not push notifications for this live stream. So again, if you know anyone right now that watches on YouTube only, now's a good time to tell them and remind them that we are live here tracking this severe thunderstorm warning in northeastern Oakland County, specifically Clarkston down to Pontiac, heading towards Rochester Hills, Auburn Hills, and Rochester. You can see how these storms evolved this afternoon. It was a couple different cells that I keep popping up and down. When these storms do pop up and down, especially quite quickly, we can see those downdraft winds come out of a thunderstorm. Basically, the thunderstorm is collapsing in on itself, and all of that air and rain all has to come crashing down at some point. And so when it does, we do see what are called downbursts, isolated pockets of damaging winds that kind of spread out in all directions. And so specifically when they issued this severe thunderstorm warning, it was directly over Holly, and it has since moved off to the south a little bit and kind of transitioned itself to the cell that popped up in tow on the south side of the severe thunderstorm warning, which is in Clarkston right now that we are currently tracking. Back to that notification thing, I will say this. It did show that we went live on Twitch as well. Or so it said we went live on Twitch, just not YouTube. So again, a good reminder for everyone that is watching out here. Have multiple ways to receive warning, whether that's through us or just in general, wherever you go. So that means, apps on your phone, text message alerts, Midland Weather radios, of course. And of course, here at MSC, we have multiple platforms that we are live on. Multiple of them do push notifications when we are live. So in this specific example here, we are live on YouTube right now. It just, for some reason, the platform decided, we're going to take the day off and not push a notification. But it did push the notification on Twitch. So again, Twitch is a platform that not many people know about. It's actually pretty nice to use there. And you can actually see at the bottom of the screen, it actually just popped up. Perfect timing. Our Twitch handle is at MI Storm Chasers if you guys would like to give that a try at some point. For your viewing experience. And of course, as mentioned, that does push notifications. Current time right now is 2:30 on the nose. Again, I am Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma here, live with you guys until this line of storms is no longer severe. At the current time, we are not close to that being a reality, but these storms are quickly moving off to the east at 45 miles per hour. So if all things go well, we should be done within the next 2 hours, hopefully at most. And then we can have a great rest of our Saturday evening. But again, for the time being here this afternoon, we got a lot of instability out there, a lot of steep lapse rates, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. So hail is the primary concern. And anytime these thunderstorms do collapse down, gusty winds of 60 miles per hour cannot be ruled out. We'll go ahead and zoom back in on our storm now that is now through downtown Clarkston. And this is heading off between Lake Orion and Auburn Hills here very, very shortly. In fact, I can actually pull up. Let's see if this camera is actually live right now. Oh, perfect. We can actually view this storm on our weather camera network. Give me 1 second to get this in for you guys. There we go. So there is our Lake Orion cam. This is courtesy of Storm Guard Roofing and Construction, also known as Storm Guard Metro Detroit North. They cover Macomb, Oakland, Washtenaw counties for all of your roofing needs. They have this camera on top of their headquarters in Lake Orion, and that is a gorgeous looking, we call it a whale's mouth, where it looks very bumpy. It kind of looks like the inside of a whale's mouth here on the storm. And of course you can see the rain core on the right side of the screen where it gets kind of wispy and lighter in nature. So again, thank you to Storm Guard Metro Detroit North for sponsoring this camera as this line of storms does move into their neck of the woods. And again, this is looking off to the southwest, so it's looking straight down that line of storms as it moves in. And not sure if we have any cameras quite closer to the storm, but again, this is going to give us a good idea of just how intense the winds may be, and of course the hail that would be falling as if this core does move more into the Lake Orion area versus the Auburn Hills area. So I'll keep an eye on this. I'll go back to the radar for the time being. I'll keep an eye on it on my other monitor over here as this line of storms does move in. There's your radar update. They're continuing to trim that severe thunderstorm warning box back. You can see that orange line continues to bump, bump, and bump off to the east. So Ortonville is now squarely not in the severe thunderstorm warning anymore. And the radar site and portions of the west side of Clarkson are also no longer in the severe thunderstorm warning. It does continue downstream for Auburn Hills, Rochester Hills, Lake Orion, and Leonard in northeastern Oakland County. Hail core right now, if there's going to be hail, is directly over the Baldwin Road area at Judah Road. Specifically the darkest of the pixels here. Again, where you see this black and dark gray on your screen, that is 66 dBz, which is very large rain droplets directly on Gregory and Hidden Timber off of Baldwin. And so again, this is going to continue off towards the Joslin Road area and straight down Silver Bell Road in the minutes to come here, within the next probably 5 minutes or less, as it approaches quickly Lapeer Road. So what I'm showing you guys right now are the bunch of different radar products we use here at MSC. So first and foremost, the radar app that I'm using is actually something that is PC only. It's very expensive, but if you guys would like to purchase it for yourselves, again, it is called GR2 Analyst. And again, this is how you can see all of this different radar data that we show you guys, from wind to hail to the tops of storms, you name it. It's got everything, but very expensive. That is something you guys would like to purchase. But right now we are showing you guys all of these radar products ourselves, so that you don't have to. And in this case right now, I'm going to go ahead and line up the storm as it's now moved into the Giddings Road area. We got our CC radar. So this is now the CC radar I'm showing you guys. Once again, anywhere you see these reds on radar, that is going to be your uniformity of raindrops or just liquid in the atmosphere in general. So the more circular it is, the redder and the pinker it'll become. If it is more jagged in nature, but it's still meteorological in sense, then it's going to be labeled as kind of these yellow and these green pixels. So specifically we think of hail is jagged in nature, and that is what we're seeing out there today in some of these storms. There's not a whole lot mixing in here, but that again is because we are so close to the radar site, and there's a lot of different things kind of getting mixed in with the storm right now as well. We also use this radar to look at debris if there was debris in a storm. Obviously today we don't expect tornadoes. We're not expecting tornadoes specifically with this storm. But again, it's so close to the radar right now that this radar is very sensitive. It's picking up on everything that is around the radar site that is flying around. So think planes, birds, got bugs. And sometimes with the bending of the beam a little bit, it can pick up on some low-level vegetation, which would also be picked up as blue on radar. So that's why you can see all this blue around the reds and it's making it very difficult to kind of determine whether or not the hail is falling in here. Another product that we can use is called our vertically integrated liquid product, which kind of just centers where exactly that hail core would be centerized, and that is directly on, this is a little bit outdated, Baldwin Road. There's your latest update. I was waiting for that to come in. It has now moved off towards Brown Road. There's one little pixel here on Jam Road and Brown Road. And we can look at our probability of severe hail, and it is at 0%. So good news here. This storm does appear to be weakening. And another radar product I'll bring up for you guys here is ZDR, which kind of shows us the buoyancy of the thunderstorm. So it's pretty neat to look at to see what storms are growing upscale and which storms may be falling apart. So in this specific radar, you guys are learning with me here, this specific radar where it shows the hotter colors, that means this storm is, well, it's becoming stronger in nature. The updraft is more positively buoyant, so it's lifting up. Anything that is more on the cooler side of the colors, even down towards dark grays, that is a collapsing thunderstorm. And so right now we can see this storm is still kind of neutrally to positively buoyant as it's now approaching and passing over M24. But we'll have to watch this in the minutes to come to see if that becomes neutral to negatively buoyant. So there's your crash course on all of the different radar products we can use here to figure out what exactly is happening at what location. And we do have other cells starting to pop up a little bit ahead of this initial line. You can see down here in the Milan to Ypsilanti and Belleville, a couple showers popping up. We'll have to keep an eye on these cells as they are also in a warm, unstable environment. Also this cell here in the St. Clair area heading up right up I-94 towards Marysville. And of course the cell that just popped up over Port Huron. All of these cells could become a wishbone-shaped line here. We have two lines that are very close in proximity with a northern point where they kind of meet. So we'll keep an eye on this line. Could have two lines of severe hail and wind as this moves into the Detroit area. It does appear that wind is still our main factor, though. We got 52 mile per hour pixel right now on Tynken Road. That might be, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. I do apologize. We got North Adams Road as well, near Shenandoah Drive as well. So a couple of different, actually a bunch of different neighborhoods in this area just to the west of Rochester and Rochester Hills. And again, this wind is going to continue off to Macomb County here very soon. We would expect some sort of statement or maybe an additional warning to be issued within the next 5 minutes just based on storm motion at 45 miles per hour off to the east. A cell up here near Burrville has also upticked in lightning, and when we usually see an uptick in lightning, that can also be a sign of a strengthening storm besides that ZDR radar that we showed you guys. And this cell would be continuing off towards the Burrville and Memphis area, specifically towards the M19 corridor south of Emmett within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So keep an eye on that cell. It does look like it's kind of growing upscale in nature a little bit. In fact, a lot of these cells on the northern periphery of this line are growing upscale in nature. A lot of lightning and perhaps some pea-sized hail involved, but at the current time, no severe warnings, so that's good. The only one that is in effect within the vicinity is down here in northeast Oakland. It's specifically this cell that is now over M24. Real quickly, while I have a second, shout out to Fun Times, one of our newest mods here at MSC, back for month number 10, saying, proud to be with MSC this long, looking forward to the years and years ahead with a heart emoji. Stay safe, y'all. Thank you very much, Fun Times, of course, for your continued support and for your help here on stream. Cell now down to the south in South Line and Wixom, also starting to pick up its intensity just a tad. This would be heading towards Novi and Farmington Hills. This would be southern Oakland County, eventually heading into northern Wayne County. So if you are in northern Wayne and southern Oakland County right now, be prepared to be taking shelter, especially if you have outdoor plans. If you don't get a severe storm, it is still a thunderstorm with a lot of cloud to ground lightning, so you should be taking shelter. If you hear thunder, you are technically close enough to be struck by lightning. Hopefully everyone's been having a great Saturday afternoon so far. Let us know in chat what you guys have been up to in terms of taking advantage of this nicer weather. And, of course, we do have colder weather moving in, so take advantage of it while you have it. we should see cold weather move back in for at least the next 7 days. We do have frost advisories and freeze warnings coming in later tonight across primarily northern Michigan, but we do expect some colder temperatures into the mid to upper 30s to make it all the way down to the 94 corridor tonight. So if you have plants that are especially sensitive to any temperatures in the 30s at all, you should be covering them up tonight, no matter where you're at in Michigan. I feel like every scan that comes in, the lightning just keeps getting more and more intense. And I see a couple of comments in chat here saying the thunder now is continuous in nature. So it doesn't shock me one bit. It is, as we go throughout the afternoon hours, especially when we hit that peak heating time frame. It's usually about 3 to 5 p.m. in the afternoon when it's the hottest outside. It's the most unstable. It's a lot more fuel available for these storms to kind of tap into and enrich themselves. And so we're seeing that play out firsthand right now with this line of strong severe storms that is moving through southeast Michigan. And that is why I do expect at least another severe thunderstorm warning or two to perhaps pop up within this line. If not, a couple more statements before this line is completely out of the state. The instability, to give you guys a kind of like a cheat code behind the scenes here, the instability values across southeast Michigan right now are kind of lackluster in comparison to what the models had here. Surface-based CAPE, we're looking for values, and they're in joules per kilogram, by the way. It's measurement of energy. We're looking for values of 750 joules per kilogram or greater, usually for severe weather, and they're struggling to make the bare minimum for severe weather to occur. So good news is these storms are a little bit weaker than what the models have been showing so far, and so we hope and pray that this continues to stay that way, and perhaps we can get through the rest of this live stream without any additional severe thunderstorm warnings. But if they are going to issue a new severe thunderstorm warning, it's likely going to be for one of these strengthening cells. Again, we're watching cell number 1 up here in the Memphis area, cell number 2 that is currently warned in the Rochester area, and cell number 3, which has now picked up a hail core in the Novi area. You can see that in our VIL product, as I mentioned again. That's on Wixom Road right now near 11 Mile. So about 3 miles to the west of Novi, heading towards that 696 I-96 interchange. So that's an if, big if statement. If we get another warning, it's going to be probably St. Clair, Macomb, or southern Oakland County within the next 10 minutes. But these cells do look pretty lackluster in nature right now, just given the fact that I'm seeing behind the scenes a lot of our ingredients are at the bare minimum right now for severe weather to be occurring. So everyone take a nice deep breath. We got this. If you're in a orange box, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. You should be taking shelter. As long as you know where your safe place is at, you guys are going to be A-okay. Yes, these storms are moving fast, 45 miles per hour. I mentioned here at about 2:30, so about 15 minutes ago, we should be done within the next 2 hours. Right now, that would be within the next hour and 45, and it's moving pretty quick. We just have to watch the southern end of this line of storms. So for Hillsdale, Lenawee, and Monroe counties, we could see a couple storms start to fill in down here closer to that 3 to 4 o'clock time frame. But other than that, this northern half is moving towards Ontario, Canada very, very quickly. But again, if you know anyone over in Ontario, Canada, especially southwest Ontario, also a good idea to let them know that storms are on their way. That latest cell, that prefrontal cell as we call it, has really started to blossom here in the St. Clair, Marysville area. But this will be out of the U.S. in the next 5 minutes. Specifically right now, we got Davis Road at Range Road that we're watching about 1.5 miles south of Marysville, heading into Marysville right now. St. Clair just getting brushed by. Just keep an eye out there for some pea-sized hail. Same thing here in the Burrville area. Same thing up there just south of Avoca, and also up there towards Lakeport. Got a couple strong storms now on Lake Huron. Those are not of concern to Michigan. And of course, we're watching our previously severe thunderstorm warned storm for Oakland County that is no longer severe thunderstorm warned, heading in towards the Shelby and Romeo area. Farmington Hills, Novi, as I mentioned, that's number 1 down there. And of course, South Lyon and Warden, another cell that needs to be watched. Other than that, we have a bunch of showers and thunderstorms a little bit further south. Another cell also popping up in Warren. So as I mentioned, it's kind of making that wishbone shape. We got those two lines very, very close together, and eventually they meet at that one point on the northern end. And so it looks like a upside down Y, but more importantly, it kind of looks like a wishbone there in southeast Michigan. Any one of these storms could become severe at any time. Anything that's off to the west of this line, however, that's kind of these dryish showers out there. In fact, it is drying up behind this cold front as these dew points drop off very considerably in the vicinity of the cold front. So these showers that you see on radar are fairly elevated in nature right now. Not expected to be severe, not expected to turn into severe weather. It's primarily this lead line down here in southeast Michigan. We got a replacement special weather statement coming in. We got a bunch of counties in this one. I'll go ahead and read off the details behind the scenes. They are going to issue this for southern St. Clair, all of Macomb, and the southeast corner of Oakland counties. This is in effect till 3:45 p.m. for 50-mile-per-hour winds and half-inch hail possible. So very close to severe limits still at this current time, but they are going to go with a statement, which is basically, for a lack of better words, like the JV version of a severe thunderstorm warning. It's for strong storms, not severe. So keep that in mind. It's still a strong storm. You should be taking shelter until the storm passes, but it is not technically, by standard, a severe thunderstorm. So good news, but if you are in Oakland, Macomb, St. Clair, the special weather statement is now in effect for you guys. You should be taking shelter until this line of storms passes. We do have a report now of 1-inch hail sourced via trained spotter in Clarkston, so that does verify the severe thunderstorm warning that did occur. So 1-inch hail did fall in Clarkston, Oakland County this afternoon in that severe thunderstorm warning. If you guys have any hail reports to send in to us, make sure to do so with a time, a location specifically. Also, if you are measuring hail, please, please, please make sure to do so with a coin next to the hail or a ruler. Obviously, the ruler is going to be your best source of measurement. But again, if you have a coin on you, that's also a good source of measurement, or some sort of sports ball, so like a golf ball, ping pong ball, tennis ball, something that's relative in size that is uniform in nature for your measurements. That can also go the same for if you have any wind damage out there, any tree damage, time, location, and basically what you're seeing out there. If you can eyeball the estimate of the diameter of tree branches that are falling, go for it. But again, any pictures are helpful. You can do so by sending that in via our Facebook community group, Michigan Weather Reports. That it can be searched on the search bar on Facebook. We also have our messenger open. Please keep our messenger to damage reports only or hail reports only, especially if it's severe hail in nature, 1 inch in diameter. Otherwise, of course, as always, we have a Discord server open for you guys to join. It is discord.gg/Michigan Storm Chasers. Just type that out, and it should pop in for you guys to join. Just make sure when you do join to follow the instructional rules so you don't get accidentally kicked in the next cleaning of our members. And again, that is our Discord server, discord.gg/Michigan Storm Chasers. We do have a new warning popping in, but it is not for land, it is for the water. That blue rectangle that you see all up and down the Detroit River and through Lake St. Clair up all the way to Port Huron is a special marine warning. So what that is essentially a severe thunderstorm warning, but for the waters. So if you're out on the waters right now in a boat, especially a small craft, you should be taking shelter at harbor until this line of storms passes. This is for 40 knots of wind and small hail up and down this line. And it actually does list cities that this line of storms is going to be towards in the actual special marine warning. So I can kind of read this off for you guys. Port Huron is going to be 2:55, so now or in the next 5 minutes. New Baltimore around 3, St. Clair 3:05, St. Clair Shores 3:10. Mount Clemens Harbor of Refuge and Metro Beach Metro Park Marina 3:15. Elginak, St. Clair Flats, Old Channel Light, the Ambassador Bridge, Grosse Pointe, Belle Isle, Wyandotte around 325, Gibraltar 335, and Elizabeth Park Marina and Grosse Ile, around 340. Other locations impacted by strong thunderstorms includes Gibraltar, which is already mentioned in this text. So that is your special marine warning in that blue box there for our boaters, and some cities are actually mentioned in that special marine warning too, so I was able to kind of give you guys some notice for those lakeshore areas. If there's any wind right now, especially 50 miles per hour, nature is going to be heading right down 24-mile road, just crossing over Parkdale. Again, we're looking at our velocity radar here for the brighter reds, changing to oranges and yellows. It kind of looks like the same shade of orange as, well, an orange as it moves across the radar. And so Utica and Shelby in Macomb County, that is where the strongest of the winds will likely be. And would not be surprised if they issue a short-term severe thunderstorm warning for that little pocket that is popping in. Now, however, I will say this. As this line of storms does move away from the radar, remember, that beam from the radar is consistently going up into the atmosphere. So it starts at 100 feet off the ground. You get out towards Macomb County, and I can read it with my mouse here. It's at this storm specifically about 1,000 feet off the ground. So the lowest elevation of that beam is now at 1,000 feet off the ground. And so if you think about it, anything below 1,000 feet at that spot in Macomb County, we can't see on radar because the beam is, well, simply overshooting it. So anything above 1,000 feet we can see. And so in some cases, we do have, low-level wind out there today that is showing up in the about half a mile up in the atmosphere, but it may not be mixing completely to the ground. So the radar will show these strong winds as you get further away from the radar, but just note that as you get further away from the radar, it's showing higher and higher into the storm. A lot of lightning out there, though. Any of these cells producing hail and lightning are dangerous, of course. When thunder roars, head indoors. Make sure you do so until the storm passes. Again, it's like I say, it's not like baseball where you get 3 strikes and you're out. If you're struck by lightning, it's 1 strike and you're out. Unless you're one of the rare people that have survived lightning, which has happened before. But again, lightning strikes, and that temperature from lightning is 50,000 degrees, plus all of that voltage that you receive from an electric spark. It's not a good sign. So again, take lightning safety very seriously, even if you're not in a severe thunderstorm warning this afternoon. There's a lot of instability still out there for cloud-to-ground lightning to occur. The most of the lightning right now is actually in the northern half of the storm. There's a bunch of different cells here, Gardendale to Marysville, all the way back towards Memphis and the Richmond area. So in between 69 and 94, the most lightning that we're seeing here is in St. Clair County. Still a lot of lightning, though, in Macomb County at the current time. I'm going to go ahead and pause radar so we can kind of catch up with all of these cells. Also a lot of lightning, perhaps some small hail in the Farmington Hills area. This is still tracking down I-69 towards Southfield eventually. And of course, we do have a lot of different cells popping up in the vicinity of Dearborn, Detroit, Hamtramck, and St. Clair Shores. Still waiting to see if there's any southern development on the Washtenaw area down towards Lenawee and Hillsdale County. If not, Lenawee and Hillsdale and Monroe may get out of this scratch-free for severe weather today. Current time now is 2:55. Bottom of the screen, the highest active alert out there is a special weather statement. There's one in effect, of course, for the severe weather, but there's also a special weather statement in effect for the dry air moving in behind the cold front today. And that is for all of northern lower Michigan, where they do have fire weather possible up there in the northern lower peninsula. And that is when you have humidity values that are around 25% or lower. And that is due to the fact we have dew points that are really, really low coupled with that fuel which is the wind. So again, wind and dry air is not a good combination. Those wind gusts today behind the cold front could be as high as 35 miles per hour. Would not rule out a couple instances of 40 mile per hour winds as well, but for the most part, gusts today 30 to 35 miles per hour behind the cold front, coupled with that very dry air. And that dry air will turn into cold air later tonight. So as a reminder, we do have freeze warnings and frost advisories scrolling at the bottom of the screen here as well. So fire weather, freeze weather, and of course severe weather, all occurring here today in the state of Michigan. This is kind of a walk in the park compared to what we saw a couple days ago. But again, we got a little bit of everything going on today with the passing of this cold front. Let's say if you know anybody in Macomb County, feel free to shoot them a text, let them know. Again, that's a pretty strong storm moving through. Also in St. Clair County, a lot of lightning moving in. If you are your family's designated weatherman by default, again, you know what to do. Let them know lightning heading their way. Also small hail and some gusty winds of 50 miles per hour. So you have a report here in chat. Penny-sized hail at Farmington Hills High School. Thank you for the report there. If you guys have any pictures, again, send those in to us. That way we can relay them over to the National Weather Service office and get perhaps a new warning issued if that is the case where it gets to perhaps 1 inch in diameter. So everything does help here at MSC. We do have our staff on call behind the scenes. Also, noticing this on the MEDAR station at DTX, so the the radar station, it gusted to 46 miles per hour officially, and that was as of 2:30 when that storm was kind of in the vicinity there. So pretty strong winds, on top of the fact they did have 1 inch hail near Clarkston. And this is just wind that will continue off towards Macomb, St. Clair, Wayne, and Monroe counties within the next hour. No severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now for those who are just tuning in and wondering why we're live. We did go live for a severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect. You can see the orange box on the screen. That has now disappeared. It is no longer in effect, but you can see it looping through just how long it was in effect for. And it was really about, half hour, give or take. Again, we've been live for 53 minutes now. And so we're kind of just waiting to see how this line progresses as it moves very close to Ontario, Canada. Also, speaking of behind the scenes, if you guys have any damage from today, especially if it's like flooding, storm damage, tree removal needs, anything you guys need, we got a bunch of services here at Michigan Storm Chasers for you guys to kind of tap into. Again, we've vetted and made sure these companies are licensed and insured for you guys' safety. So anytime you see these trusted partners scrolling below me at the bottom of the screen, again, those are our trusted partners that we have a partnership with here at MSC that you guys can reach out to at any point. So again, all that info down here at the bottom of the screen, you'll see it scrolling through, is useful. Otherwise, if you guys don't know who to turn to, our staff is on call behind the scenes to kind of point you in the right direction. So again, we're here for you guys both during the storm and after the storm. For your restoration, storm cleanup needs, and of course to make sure you guys are safe when the storms are moving through. Right now, St. Clair County, southern and central St. Clair County getting hit the hardest in terms of our rain, lightning, and perhaps some pea-sized hail, and of course those 50 mile per hour winds. In addition, we do have Macomb County here, central Macomb County heading towards New Baltimore and New Haven, also getting in on the action there for the lightning, hail, and wind. Further south, we did have that cell in the Farmington Hills area that is still continuing through the area. And as we mentioned, as someone mentioned here in chat, some penny-sized hail moving in. But the storm is very, very small and very localized to Farmington Hills and Southfield. So it's not affecting too many people at the current time. Obviously, a lot of people that live in this area. So if you know you live along 696, this line of storms is heading right down the highway and heading towards Royal Oak and Clawson up next. Over here on YouTube, again, shout out to our moderator, Fun Times, also gifting 10 memberships to those who are subscribed on YouTube. Thank you very much, Fun Times. And of course, if you are subscribed on YouTube, check your account. You may have been recently gifted a free 30-day membership to MSC Plus here behind the scenes. So thank you very much, fun times. Oops, I sped up the radar so it was light speed for a second. Hopefully you guys didn't get blurry-eyed from that. That was really, really quick. This line is growing upscale in nature, so it's going to fill in and become just a full line of storms that is less cells and more just kind of the squall as it moves into the Ontario region. And quite impressive on Lake Huron right now. If you know anyone over there in Ontario, that's probably going to produce their own severe weather within the next half hour to an hour. We're very close, guys. We're cooking right now, but I do see this. Our latest couple scans here are finally starting to pick up on growth of the southern flank of this line. So south of Jackson, primarily popping up along that US 12 corridor. So from Sturgis to Coldwater and points to the east. So it would include Hillsdale and eventually heading towards Adrian. We'll have to watch these cells as they pop up. They may go quickly, especially since all of our instability is further south. And again, this is the best area where over 1,000 joules per kilogram of instability is available. Remember, that magic number is usually around 750, so it is severe amounts of instability down here that is kind of just waiting to be used along and south of the US 12, and we're starting to see that right now as all of these cells are lining up in succession across the US 12 corridor. So we'll stay live until these storms are through the state, despite the fact that severe weather is not occurring. Again, we're likely probably your only source that is currently live right now for severe weather in the state of Michigan. Again, we do this all the time. If you're new here, we understand there's always new faces watching our streams here at MSC. So first and foremost, I humbly welcome you guys to our channel. Again, we do this 365 days a year, whether it's severe weather, winter weather, you name it, we're covering it. And specifically for severe weather, I did the math the other day. We have covered with this severe thunderstorm warning today, the last 818 severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings in a row, dating back through late 2023. Everywhere in Michigan, no matter where a warning has been issued, we've been live covering it from beginning to end. And so our policy is beginning to end, first warning to last warning. However, as you can see on the screen, there are no warnings right now. We're just making sure that no warnings do pop up. It's also easier for us to kind of stay live and instead of going off live and then setting up a secondary stream. The only positive to that, though, today, of course, is if we did start a second stream, it would maybe push into the YouTube notification this time. Not going to take those chances, so we're going to stay live here until this line does make it through the state. This cell is actually starting to get its act together now as it moves towards Lake St. Clair, New Baltimore area. A lot of lightning and hotter hues starting to pop up once again. But again, it's not near severe yet. Still some 50-mile-per-hour winds mixing in, perhaps some half-inch hail. We'll keep an eye on it. At the current time, not severe. Same thing goes for the storm that is now in the Birmingham and Southfield area. And these are really the two main cells besides this complex that is now in the Marysville and Port Huron area, where those two lines of storms meet, that edge of that wishbone there in the Sarnia and Port Huron area. Yeah, check out those cells down here in southern Michigan. They may look like tiny little blips now, but just you wait. About 10 or 15 minutes from now, these showers will probably turn into full-fledged thunderstorms. So this is kind of your early heads up. If you are down here in Hillsdale, Lenawee, and Monroe counties specifically, you can see an uptick in thunder and lightning here very, very quickly, kind of out of the blue, with how much instability is out there this afternoon for at least, your thunderstorms. But as I mentioned here, this atmosphere today is kind of not been living up to its fruition, which is a good sign. So models had about 1,000 to 1,250 in terms of our joules per kilogram of instability. And the only point we see over 1,000 right now is right where these storms are popping up. Every other storm that's popped up today, Washtenaw and Wayne County points north, is all sitting in a reservoir of 750, that magic number I keep mentioning, 750 and less of instability. So goes to show you what 750 does. We got one severe thunderstorm warning out of it. We're curious to see what this line does down here along and south of US 12. As chat says, it is kind of meh out there right now. It absolutely is. Peace out, Hail and Sarnia. Thank you for that report, Jeff. Also, if you guys are trying to send pictures in chat, we can't see those on our back end stuff. You guys would have to post any hail reports or wind damage reports in a different thread if you guys are on Facebook. So keep that in mind anytime you are watching our streams. We can't see any photos that you post here in this live stream thread. Low temperatures tonight in the low 40s to upper 30s for southeast Michigan. Not expected to be freeze warning criteria. Very close to frost advisory, but as I was mentioning earlier here in the stream, if you've got any plants tonight that are very sensitive to just temperatures in the 30s in general, it's a good idea to cover them up tonight. I might have some surprising frost in low-lying areas especially. Again, our models only show area-wide coverage. If you know you live in a low-lying area especially, you should be prepared for temperatures that are actually closer to freezing than actually modeled. So keep that in mind. Right now, current threat is the severe weather that we're tracking across southeast Michigan. We have a couple cells, Wayne, southeastern Oakland, and Macomb, even up here into the Marysville and Port Huron area in St. Clair County. Yes, when I zoom out, you can see that it's every single road in Wayne County. So if I zoom in, it's not a problem. But if you zoom out, all of those little black lines you see on there are all individual roads. And so when you zoom out to a point where it's, about this far out, it's almost hard to see the radar at that point. So we got to zoom in to kind of see the rain in Wayne County as it moves through, as well as the wind, of course, too. In terms of wind, I am watching this cell. I don't think that's anything concerning. It shouldn't be. But there is a little bit of a surge of wind in the Royal Oak area. Just a very, very subtle shift. Very subtle shift in wind heading into the Royal Oak, heading towards Warren, right down 696. You can kind of see that with a little bowing segment here. You kind of see how that kind of curves in on itself. That could be a little bit of gusty winds moving forward. You also have this whole mess of wind up here where it's brighter in the Sterling Heights and Katy area, and that is well lined up with that special weather statement is in effect at the current time. To be fair, Colin, I didn't finish my sentence. I said S-H-I. I did not say the last letter, and I was trying to say shift. You can go back and clip it. Shift. Sterling Heights, though, let us know what you guys are seeing in terms of wind. Kind of curious to see if that's actually verifying down to the surface. I have a couple pixels here in the Hanson and Denson Drive neighborhood, picking up at 56 miles per hour, and that is 1,200 feet off the ground. A freeze watch has been issued. That's going to be for all of northern Michigan. I wonder if that's... Yeah, so that's going to be for Sunday night into Monday. They're issuing a freeze watch, which makes sense because it's going to be cold to start your week. So that freeze watch you see popping in the bottom of the screen is for all of northern Michigan. Any more coming in? No, okay. So all of northern Michigan, that is for, well, actually parts of central Michigan too. All the overnight period from Sunday night into Monday. Again, we already have freeze warnings and frost advisory in effect for tonight, so Saturday night into Sunday morning. So the next 2 nights are going to be quite cold out there across the state. We're almost there, y'all. We're almost there, and then we can enjoy the rest of our evening. Again, no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect out there at the current time of 3:11 in the afternoon here on May 9th. But we are still watching for the potential. Do we have a new core trying to pop up here is the question. That volumetric scan did not read. Oh, the core is very shallow on this. Part of that could be the vicinity to the radar, but it's not that impressive. I am still curious, though. Excuse me, Sterling Heights over towards Fraser and Katy. Still picking up at those 55-mile-per-hour winds. We're on 14-mile, 15-mile, and 16-mile. Just south of Sterling Heights. Let us know what you guys are seeing there if you are in the vicinity. See, Emily says the thunder is bad in the East Point Warren area. Thank you for the report there. It's going to be very rumbly out there for sure. Sterling Heights is windy. Okay, thank you guys very much. If you guys have any estimated wind speeds, that also does help us, but don't speculate, I would say. Just try and give it a best estimate. If you missed our severe weather outlook release at 8 a.m. this morning, it is on our page. However, I will say this, I'll give you kind of the Cliff Note version right now. The severe weather should be done by 7. It'll probably be done earlier than that. And again, the main hazards are wind and hail out there. Tornadoes are less than 1% chance today. But the hail and wind is a 5 to 14% chance in the level 2 zone. You'd have to see the map to kind of view it. But again, that is there for your viewing pleasure. It is on our Facebook, Instagram, and X page. Our username on our social medias, of course, across all platforms is at MI Storm Chasers. Welcome back, Pacify, over here on YouTube, joining the Bronze membership team. Appreciate your support, as always. 16 Utica, temp dropped at least 10 degrees. Wind picking up. Thank you guys for that report there. Clinton Township, wind and thunder. Windy in Ferndale. Little thunder, little rain, Harper Woods. Groesbeck and 16-mile. Pretty strong wind gusts, but very intermittent. Branch County starting to get on the thunder. There we go. As I mentioned 5 minutes ago, I literally said this. I was like, you guys are probably going to start to see that very sudden increase of thunder and lightning, and that is popping up. You can see 3 little piggies. I kid you not, 1, 2, 3 of cells from south of Coldwater over to Allen and up to Addison that have popped up in succession for this cold front that is now on US 12. So you can also see in each of these little cells here, there is cores and pockets of lightning. So these cells, I'm almost inclined to just keep saying these 3 little piggy cells are continuing to head off to the east. Again, Onstead Hudson would be up next. We do have a Hudson cam and an Allen cam. I'll go ahead and see if I can pull in some of our nearby cams here. Also get our Dearborn cam in the background. Dearborn has a good view on one of the cells in the Wayne County area. That would be looking at the cell that is passing through the Ferndale area right now. So this is what we're looking at. So this is live from Dearborn, looking to the north-ish at that cell, heading through Royal Oak and Ferndale at the current time. And you can see the rain curtains out there in the distance. You see these little wispy lines moving down from underneath the clouds. And another thing to note here is the bases of these clouds are very high. And so for the most part, these storms are staying elevated in nature, not able to really use up all the instability that is out there at the current time. So the higher the cloud bases, the better off we're going to be. But we do still expect wind and hail to be a concern as these cells move through the rest of southeast Michigan over the next hour or so. So again, this is live from downtown Dearborn, looking to the north towards that cell that is in the Ferndale area. I do also have a river view camera that will have a view here very soon. There's your river view camera, courtesy of Electronic Tech Solutions. That is the downriver area, of course. That is looking to the west. Had a couple additional cells trying to fire in the Wayne, Monroe County areas, and we'll have a good view at this as this line continues over into that neck of the woods within the next hour. There we go. Bring Tyler's cam in. Again, we'll do a live little check-in with our chasers right now. Again, we got Mike and Tyler out there this afternoon in southeast Michigan. We'll start with Mike. He's got a view of a nice little cloud there. He's in the Tecumseh area, I believe, according to his location there at the bottom of the screen. Not sure if that's updated or not. I'm going to guess it is. And Tyler is in Sterling Heights, and he's also got a couple little puffy cumulonimbus clouds trying to pop up there. For those who are curious, we don't have any cameras yet in Macomb County, weather cameras. We do have a weather camera that's going to be installed in the New Haven area soon, but anywhere else in Macomb County, not a single weather camera for you guys. What is Tyler putting on his screen right now? I just got distracted, but I got to pull up his camera. It takes me a second to get there. Joel, where are storms? They got to go where they're at. If you're in Sterling Heights, you're very close to that storm down in Warren and Ferndale. Tyler the comedian. Always cracking jokes. I think this is the only cell that is really of any concern right now. We do still have that line of showers, thunderstorms up here in eastern St. Clair County, between St. Clair and Marine City, also down in New Baltimore.
Joel, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, I am not in Sterling Heights. I'm in Tecumseh, sitting right next to Mike.
Please update your location. Thank you very much.
Okay, fine.
So they have the same view. I had no idea. So Tyler, I was gonna say that view looked familiar. It looked almost the same. There's Tyler's cam. There's Mike's cam. Not a whole lot of difference there. But if they are in Tecumseh, they got storms heading their way. Specifically the one that's in Addison right now. So that will be directly off to their they're off to their west, mind you, directly over Addison. It's like about 15 or so miles till it arrives, and at 45 miles per hour, it'll be there within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe within the next 20. We got a couple cells popping up here that will just kind of all ride back to back. So one cell, then another, then another, then another. So keep an eye on it. Janelle in chat says, tell him that's the point of chasing. It's not called wait for the storms to come to you. That's a fair point. No, they're in the line of fire for these storms in Tecumseh, but that is a fair point. Tyler will probably respond with he needs gas money, which is fair, especially right now. Current time, by the way, 3:20 p.m. And this line of storms is continuing to blossom across Hillsdale and now Lenawee County. Temperatures down here in around 70 degrees. Nice, comfortable afternoon. But once that cold front moves through, welcome back fall-like temperatures. So far, kind of quick recap as I show you guys the zoomed out picture of radar. We've had a severe thunderstorm warning. You can see that kind of looping on the screen for northern Oakland County, and that was it. That's the only severe thunderstorm warning we've had so far. And it was for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. We've had one confirmation of 1-inch hail in Clarkston, and that's it. This is a pretty self-explanatory low-end severe day where you get maybe a severe thunderstorm warning or two. Again, this is a reminder why they don't issue severe thunderstorm watches on days like today, is because the coverage is sometimes very low in nature. So when you issue a severe thunderstorm watch for 12 counties across southeast Michigan and you get one severe thunderstorm warning out of it, it's not really effective. And so that's where our knowledge of the storms comes in. Make sure you turn into your local meteorologist, myself included, of course. We'll tell you guys what to pay attention to. Of course, if there's any severe thunderstorm warnings that pop in, we'll be tracking them from beginning to end, as we always do. Your current time is now 3:22. We are live on 5 different platforms. So obviously we have Facebook and YouTube. Those are our most popular. We also have X. We also have Twitch TV, which is highly underrated if you guys would like to check that out. And most recently, we started live streaming on TikTok as well. So if that is a platform you also are on, MI Storm Chasers. As a reminder, we are on all platforms, MI Storm Chasers this afternoon. What we're doing right now is we're tracking these storms as they pop up, but that's about it. There's no real sort of danger right now in terms of these storms, other than the fact we do have some frequent cloud to ground lightning out there and some small hail. And anywhere the small hail is occurring is going to be primarily in southern Macomb and northeastern Wayne, where you continue to watch the storm move through the Ferndale area. Wind-wise, if we take a look at the velocity radar, there's a nice pocket of wind in there as well. Pixels right now reading 44 to 45. There's a couple pockets of 50 miles per hour in the St. Clair Shores and East Point area, but not severe wind. Still, 50-mile-per-hour winds, you guys know what that kind of feels like. It can bring down some isolated branches, so we got to be mindful of that. PCS Hail and Warren, thank you for the report. Yes, they are passing very, very quickly. Looks like we got Tyler on the move. Nancy, feel free to reach out to us via email. I see you're on Facebook. Our email is attached in our biography on our Facebook page. So just click on our profile page and a contact email should be listed there on the screen. So again, feel free to reach out to us. If not, I can give it to you right now. Our contact email, if you guys would like to be interested in sponsoring a weather camera and finding out details for that, would be contact@michiganstormchasers.com. Specifically, if you want to reach out to Ryan, who's kind of the head of that, it's ryan@michiganstormchasers.com. Mike also on the move. Again, they've got some really good views of the dark clouds rolling in. I gotta press 4 buttons to get to him here. There's Mike. There's Tyler. As a reminder, Tyler is also in Tecumseh. His location is not updating at the current time. He's not in Sterling Heights. He is in Tecumseh as well as Mike. So they're kind of the same neck of the woods right out there in Lenawee County. They are watching these cells blossom up and move in towards the Adrian and Hudson areas, which we do have more weather. We have a lot of weather cameras down in the Lenawee County area, more than I think any other county in the state. And we got Julie, one of our moderators in chat, $5 super chat here on YouTube, saying for Tyler's gas money fund. Thank you very much, Julie. Appreciate your support. There you go, Tyler. in my personal opinion, this line is quite messy. The only place where it's really defined right now is in the Warren and Hamtramck areas and St. Clair Shores. Again, this is pretty much crossing 94 within the next minute or so. It already is in the St. Clair Shores area, but if you're from Detroit up through St. Clair Shores, it's going to be within the next 2 minutes. So be advised if you are traveling on the interstates around downtown Detroit this afternoon, it's going to probably slow up for a little bit until these showers do leave the area. We do have a special weather statement that is still in effect. And that's really about it. It's for Macomb and St. Clair counties. A half-inch hail, 50-mile-per-hour winds. That's it. And we are glad that that is all. So we are just going to continue to watch. Speaking of watching, Mike is very close to that cell now. Tyler's also got a distant view on it. So up there in the top right of the screen, out there in Tecumseh, that is what we're looking at for this cell specifically. If I zoom in on it, heading towards Onstead. We'll go ahead and go full screen on the radar. And we'll pull off my screen for a second. You're going to hear it go silent because I'm going to adjust my desk. I'm actually going to sit down and kind of wait for these storms to move in. Again, I'm on my feet right now, so it's a little tiring, but give me 1 second to move the desk. Okay, we're back. Yes, severe weather threat should be done by 7 o'clock at the latest tonight. As I mentioned at 2:30, the way things are speeding up, this should all be done at that time within the next 2 hours. And at the current time of 3:28, so about 2 minutes before 3:30 here, this line of storms is in Detroit and in St. Clair Shores, but for the most part, if you look north, we still got a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity in Elginak and Marine City. That is it for north of Detroit. South of Detroit and southwest of Detroit, it's pretty much all along and south of US 12. And it'll stay that way. So if you're north of US 12, good news, you're in the clear for the rest of this evening. I got a $2 super chat from Michelle over here on YouTube. I think this is supposed to be a troll comment. Julie's garden while watching heat lightning. Yeah, Michelle's one of our Discord members here. Thank you for the support. I know it's an unintentional troll. Roseville, penny-sized hail possible, otherwise half-inch hail. Thank you for the report there. Guys are comedians. It's always nice when these streams turn into kind of these laid back events. We can kind of chat with you guys a little bit, just hang out, wait and see. But yeah. honestly am curious if this is just going to turn into the rest of the junk that is further to the north and just only produce that half-inch hail, like what we're kind of seeing right now in the East Point and Hamtramck areas. Grosse Pointe Woods, Grosse Pointe Farms is going to be on your doorstep, and Grosse Pointe Park within the next 5 to 7 minutes, if not sooner. So if you need to be inside, away from windows, now is your time to do that until this line of storms passes, which will be pretty quickly. As I mentioned, average speed of these storms today, 45 miles per hour off to the east, east-northeast. Go ahead and switch over to our Indiana radar for the first time. Checking on these cells to the south of the state line, as well as the ones that are in Hillsdale and Lenawee County, and they just don't look that impressive. And in fact, I just don't see these storms going severe at this current time. They would really need to get their act together, but check out your ZDR radar. You guys remember what I was saying about ZDR radar? All of the cooler colors, collapsing storms. With that in mind, we're honestly not doing half bad out there. Severe weather. We'll go ahead and check out the thermal Doppler radar. Yeah, wow, these storms are toast. According to what I'm seeing here, these storms are pretty toast right now. We'll give it till 3:40, and if nothing happens, I think we'll be able to call it good. And then I'll kind of just like sit in the background, and then we will have a part 2 stream. But these storms are pretty toast right now, falling down on themselves pretty much. Guys, again, comedians in chat today. YouTube chat, I swear, sometimes is a little unhinged. But that's why we have a mod team. Taking another live look at Mike's cam and Tyler's cam right side by side there. In the Tecumseh area. I think I'll leave it on Mike's cam just because it does have the accurate location. Yes, there are no severe thunderstorm warnings in the state, as one of our mods alluded to here. Thank you for reminding me there, Sarah. When there are no severe thunderstorm warnings, we're kind of just waiting and seeing at the current time. Yes, we are unhinged in the best way possible. If you guys have never attended a MSC after hours, or what's it called, after dark, after hours stream? I don't remember, something like that. I'm trying to search for the word. I don't remember what we call it. It's just after hours with MSC. Usually after 11 p.m. we have a stream late night. Chat is usually pretty wild, but when we're able to kind of be relaxed like this, it's a good sign. You should remember that. If it's pretty chill and laid back, then that is a sign that we are not concerned about anything out there at the current time. So, good rule of thumb. Yes, MSC After Dark. Thank you for that reminder. Please do not say false things about tornadoes happening. We have not had any tornadoes happen today. That's one thing we will not tolerate in chat, is lying and making people anxious. So don't do that. This is a friendly reminder. A couple cores right now, Dearborn and Detroit. Still have my Dearborn cam in the background, I believe. And it's just all rain right now. Riverview cam kind of has it. A little bit on the right side there. Again, courtesy of Electronic Tech Solutions over there in the Riverview area, downriver. Are you asking me if I've ever seen a water spout in person? I have not. I've seen tornadoes in person, but I have not seen a water spout. Not usually the one to go out and see water spouts. It'd have to be kind of an unintentional meetup to see a water spout. There we go. Do I have... There we go. Location's updated now, Tyler. We're cooking. Tyler is in Tecumseh. Also got Mike out there. Also in Tecumseh. I see that. There's no tornado watch. No tornado watches out there. No tornadoes have occurred. Main hazards today are wind and hail. We had a mesoscale discussion. 5% chance of a severe thunderstorm watch. I'm guessing that was Freddie. Freddie, do you have your cam live?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'll have to go into studio mode here and get that camera in. Not seeing it. Freddie, I do not have your camera or location, just a heads up.
Sorry, is that for me?
If your name is Freddie, yes. Another quick shout out here. It looks like we got this Janelle $5 super chat for 10 more drops of gas for Tyler. Also, do I gotta worry about smaller pop-up showers later messing with the drone show in Highland tonight? I will say this, there are more showers and storms possible later tonight. It will be harder for the rain to make it to the surface just because of how dry it's going to get right behind this cold front. So showers will probably pop up on radar. Most of that rain will hopefully not make it down to the surface for your evening plans, but we will still be watching showers and thunderstorms later tonight well behind the cold front. It's just, again, they'll be kind of drier in nature. So for your evening activities, the chances that you actually get your evening activities in are actually quite decent at the current time. Hopefully Holland specifically for you, Janelle, is one of those places that remains dry. Current temperature in Holland is 61 degrees with a dew point of 48. It's not bad. Two minutes of solid pea-sized hail in Grosse Pointe Farms. Thank you for that report there. Again, that cell is over Grosse Pointe Farms right now. Still pretty small in nature. A lot of cloud to ground lightning, and that's about it. We are quickly making it through it. Yeah, these storms are not that impressive. Again, everything I'm showing you guys on here is our updraft strength, and we're showing you these greens, blues, and grays. That is storms that have not shown signs of strengthening at all, besides their initial pop-up here. We'll check the wind from the airport radar. It does appear that it is trying to gust down in the vicinity of Manitou Beach. So Rome Road and Hollands Highway. Keep an eye on that little cell right there. That would be far western Lenawee County, for those who are curious. And we do have a camera on that. Oh, let me get my Hudson camera up. Hudson. There we go. Oh, it was already up. Okay. So watching, there we go. So this is in Hudson, looking north towards our Addison cell. This is courtesy of Raptor Industries. They're in the area of the Hillsdale and Lenawee County line. Raptor Industries is a proud sponsor of one of our, or I should say two of our weather cameras here at MSC. They also have a south-facing cam, which I can also bring in. Just give me a second here. I have to go exit back out of full screen and get it. Yeah. There's their south cam. So a south and a north. They got cells on both sides of them. Again, there's your north-facing cell, there's your south-facing cell. So pretty high bases out there. Again, these are clouds with a lot of moisture in them. Again, the darker they are, the more moisture content they have. But as you can see, there's not a whole lot going on beneath the clouds other than the fact that they're just trying to rain themselves out. And that is why I am pretty lax right now in terms of whether or not these storms are going to actually become severe. Obviously, best environment is right here in the Hudson area, but not stressed. I did say I would give it until 340. I think I'm going to wait until 350 now just to make sure that those winds are not going to continue to increase in nature. That'd be our Addison cell. Again, Rome Road at Townley Highway. quickly heading for US 223. It should be over US 223 within the next 4 minutes. Yeah, it could be multiple storms down here by the state line for sure.
Joe, you get a second here, Reef? My cat's like frozen on my end.
Yep, 1 second. It is not popping in.
Alright, let me try to refresh your mind.
Well, we'll go ahead and at least give out the shout out that is absolutely necessary here at MSC. Again, anyone that donates optionally, again, we appreciate you guys so very much. Every little bit does help, whether you become a Patreon member or a member here on YouTube or Facebook. No matter what help or no matter what you support on, it all helps keep operations afloat. I will say this though, we got our list of trusted partners that go above and beyond here at MSC. And so again, we have, as mentioned in the earlier part of the stream, anytime you have damage or need cleanup needs at your neck of the woods after a storm, again, we have staff on standby ready to give you the resources you need from our trusted partners that I will read through now so that you guys can pick up the pieces after these storms do come through. So listen carefully. We got some trusted partners to give those shout outs to right now. Before I do that, though, of course, shout out to Mystical Junkie, $20 super chat, saying, thank you, MSC. You guys are always on point. I greatly appreciate the hard work. Thank you very much, Mystical. Appreciate you for supporting us as always and tuning in and staying safe out there. So we'll go ahead and read through those trusted partners, though, right now. They'll be popping up at the bottom of the screen. And, of course, as always, their phone numbers are attached. We start out with the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Detroit. Feel free to help families in need today by calling that 1-810 number on the screen. ServPro, they are ready to respond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week across the entire state of Michigan. Southeast Michigan, you've been the focal point today. StormGuard Metro Detroit North will use one of their cameras too. Call them for all of your exterior home and construction needs if you are in North Metro Detroit. West Michigan, Top Gun Roofing and Exteriors, trusted source in West Michigan for roofing, siding, gutters, and windows. Top Notch Tree Care, Lansing to Jackson, your number one option for tree care needs is Top Notch Tree Care. Up in the Tri-Cities region, Victor's Home Solutions, all attic installation services, roofing installation services as well. A-Class Construction Restoration, if you're in Northwest Lower Michigan, contact them today for all of your construction restoration needs. That's Ludington to Traverse City. American Arbor, top option in Southwest Michigan for tree damage needs is American Arbor. Apex Restoration, for all of your water, mold, or fire damage emergency needs anywhere in the Thumb or Genesee County. Apex is your go-to. Battle Creek IT, providing comprehensive IT solutions tailored to your business needs. Trust them today for all of your technology needs. Carlton Equipment Company, anytime severe weather moves through, they've got the Bobcats and more to help out clean up. Carlton. Crystal Flash, for all of your fuel and propane delivery needs as well. Across the state of Michigan, contact Crystal Flash today. Inc. Media, you've recently saw the new release of our website, MichiganStormChasers.com. They helped out with that. Also providing growth-focused digital marketing strategies. Katz Roofing and Siding, for all of your roofing and siding projects in the Lansing and Potterville area. Kuiper Tree Care, West Michigan, your top option for tree care needs. Also, we have McKay Tree Specialists. If you're watching from Southeast Michigan, which I know a lot of you guys are, that's your top option for all of your tree service needs across your portion of the state. Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding up there in Sanilac and St. Clair counties. Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding's got you covered for all of your roofing and siding needs. On Top Roofing, Livingston County and surrounding areas for all of your new and replacement roofing needs. And Rainbow Restoration is also your go-to for restoration needs in and around West Michigan. That is the end of our list. So again, shout out to all of our trusted partners for keeping operations afloat. Again, it's the main reason why we're able to stay 100% free for you guys to watch here at Michigan Storm Chasers. And as always, if you'd like to become a trusted partner here at Michigan Storm Chasers, we've got limited spots open for that to kind of happen. So feel free to reach out to us today at contact@michiganstormchasers.com and we'll get the ball rolling. Wanted to quickly bring up our Hudson camera once again. It's very dark here as the storm is now passing overhead. And we'll start to see it rain here in just a second as well. Again, courtesy of Raptor Industries in Hudson, Michigan. Duplicate radar showing up. Need to hone back in on the winds here. Hudson looks a little gusty, but I'm only seeing pixels up around 45 to 48 miles per hour. So given the fact we don't have any special alert statements at all, we are not anywhere close to seeing severe weather here in southeast Michigan. So I think we're about ready to hop off then. Austin's also out there jumping into action. Go ahead and put his camera up on the screen as well for a little bit. And we'll switch it back to radar. Another rainstorm, another free car wash. I love that. We also have Ann W. back for month number 12. Welcome back for a year, Ann. Saying, looking forward to the documentary. Thank you very much, Ann. And yes, it's a good reminder that for those who don't know, we've been putting in multiple months of work into the 2025 ice storm documentary, and that will be out on YouTube here in less than a week. So if you are not subscribed on YouTube, again, it is free to do. We wish that was changed. We wish the subscribe button said follow, but again, that's what it is. Subscribe on YouTube. It is free to do. If you have a Google account, then you are able to subscribe on YouTube. Make sure to do that. Turn on notifications because in less than a week, the release of our 2025 ice storm documentary will be out on our YouTube page. We will also link it. We also link our YouTube on our other social media platforms once it's released, but ultimately it will be released on YouTube and YouTube only. So if you aren't subscribed yet, good idea to do that right now. That red button, again, free to click for you guys down there at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, no problem. Savining, I believe that's how it's pronounced. First time in chat, just wanted to say how much calmer I am during storms and I can watch the live stream. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. That's why we're here. Again, not stressing these storms too much. There could be a little bit of gustiness of wind and, of course, frequent cloudy ground lightning. The only cells we're watching right now are in Lenawee and starting to move into Monroe County, but these cells are primarily confined within far eastern Hillsdale and Lenawee County at the current time. Not stressing. This is GR2. That's the radar product that we're using here. Quiz time. How many minutes should everyone wait until the last lightning strike has occurred or last thunder rumble have occurred? If you guys were watching it earlier in the stream, you know the answer. If you don't, take a wild guess. See what everyone says. Again, what is the minimum amount of time you should wait until you last see lightning or hear thunder in order to resume outdoor activities? Time frame. Quick little quiz here as we wrap up the stream. Our moderators are on it. And then Julie, of course, says 67. And our chasers, they're all being funny. Yes, everyone is correct. I see overwhelmingly 30 minutes in chat. You guys are absolutely correct. Glad the education is rubbing off a little bit. Yep. And yes, that is actually the rule. 30 minutes. If you guys have played high school sports or know somebody that plays high school sports, the MHSAA here in Michigan, that is their rule that they have implemented, is they have to wait 30 minutes until the last lightning strike has occurred or last thunder rumble has occurred in order to resume play. And so that's a good rule of thumb to keep. Yes, I always love teaching people. Hopefully everyone remembers the radar knowledge as well. I know, so a lot of you guys out there probably don't have a radar app that shows all of these different radar products I'm flashing on the screen. But if you do, I'll quiz you guys on the radars once again. So for example, this one's pretty easy to remember. When I'm showing you guys the reds and the greens, ignore the purples, that's range folded. Don't worry about that. But when I'm showing you guys the red and green radar, what does the red and green radar mean? Moderators, feel free to hold off on your answer until everyone else has given it a shot. I'll give you guys the answer at the end, don't worry. It'll be a teaching moment, a re-teaching moment. But what does the red and green radar denote specifically? You can say the name or what its purpose is. It's the one I'm showing you guys right now on the screen. Okay, see a bunch of different mixed answers in here. I will definitely accept rotation. Velocity is the technical term, yep. Warm and low pressure is not quite correct. It's okay though. Yes, also will accept wind going towards and away from the radar site, yes. Absolutely. Spinny, spinny, yeah, that's another good idea there. It is velocity, so the measurement of wind in the atmosphere. So when we're looking at velocity radar, our wind radar, we're looking for the brighter greens and the brighter reds to be our stronger winds. And if the reds and greens are close together, very, very close together, then that would be rotation. In certain cases, if it is also close together, it can also be a downburst. We've seen that happen before, but in most cases, usually will be rotation. But at the current time, this is just a lot of green out there. We are seeing a couple instances of brighter green, which would be stronger winds of 45, 50 miles per hour. But yes, most of you guys nailed it. And if you didn't, that's okay. No worries. This is a teaching moment for you guys. If you guys would love to use different types of radar products going forward, again, you can access the same radar we do here at MSC on your phone. So, highly recommend if you guys want to check out an app with velocity on it, radar scope. Now, I will say this. We may have an app coming. Well, it's no secret, but we do have an app coming at some point, and it may have all these tools on it as well. So for now, I will recommend Radar Scope, but in the future, Michigan Storm Chasers app. It's in development right now, so be ready. Then we can start recommending our own app. Get out a hodograph quiz. Oh, I will not do that today. Maybe during a briefing. And yes, that's another reminder.
Definitely time to start talking about QT and check.
Tyler, I'm not going to do that. We'll talk about it a different day. As a reminder, the green, specifically, if you want to look at a radar site, the green on our velocity radar is towards the radar. So right now, if I go down here to our TDTW radar, anywhere in green is wind heading towards the radar site, and anything in red is wind heading away from the radar site. So red away, green towards. And as a reminder, the purple, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're curious what the purple means, that is range folded. Essentially, the radar is shooting out an electromagnetic pulse, and it bounces off the storm. And as it's heading back, it's intercepting another pulse, and it causes it to get all scrambled. And so it doesn't know if it's reading a returning pulse or a cloud. And so what it does is it's bad data. And so essentially, it just gets rid of it. And so it covers it up with a purple pixel. So there's a lot of bad data, especially in our smaller radar here at the TDTW location. But if you went to, for example, the Detroit radar, which is up in Oakland County, it shows a lot less range folded on theirs. Just notice that they do have, again, velocity radar, the measurement of the winds, do have a little bit of some inbound winds towards the radar site here of 50 miles per hour. And that is at 92 feet off the ground. So that's pretty close to the ground. Keep an eye on that. Sherman Road at Plank Road, heading towards Oakville. So Milan, that's you guys. Just double checking behind the scenes. If there's anything that's of importance, and I'm not seeing anything from any of our chasers or any of our staff behind the scenes, so we're chilling right now. Mike's got a cool shot underneath the mezzo there. See the rain curtains directly in front of him. He is in Britain now, over there in the M50 corridor. With the radar right now, it is kind of pick your poison if you're out there chasing. You got cells all over the place at the current time. We've now been live for officially 2 hours. .50-mile-per-hour winds, still heading in towards the radar site here. This is heading towards Hitchingham Road and Milan Oakville Road. Also a secondary burst in Oakville. Again, let us know what you guys are seeing in these locations. Do you appreciate any heads up? Any ground truth? Drop the app. We will definitely try. Yeah, we will definitely get an app out soon. It's in development right now. Over here on YouTube, shout out to Evan. 10 gifted memberships for our YouTube subscribers. Again, if you subscribed on YouTube, which is free to do, check your account. You've been may have been gifted courtesy of Evan, one of our chasers here at MSC. So thank you very much, Evan. Speed right now of these storms, about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So keep that in mind if you are out in front of any of these storms right now. There's just a whole cluster of them in Lenawee and Monroe County. This cell actually in Milan is trying to head up in towards the very southwest corner of Wayne, creeping into far southeastern Washtenaw right now, which is where Austin is kind of heading. We do have his cam looking right at it. Looks like he is there on US 23, heading south. If you're having, I will say this, if you're having trouble viewing any of the details on our screen, our bottom bar is actually already big enough as it is. So if it is still a trouble seeing it, I will recommend this. And this is something that a lot of our viewers already do. Feel free to screencast it to your TV if possible. A lot of smart TVs have YouTube already built into them. You can pull it up on there, or your phone has an option to screencast to the TV as well. Highly recommend. Or if you need to plug it in some hard way with the cord, also an option. Obviously, I understand not everyone can do that, but again, if you do have the means to do that, highly recommend, because again, a lot of the details we are showing here at the bottom of the screen are already pretty large and take up more room than we really want to for these streams. So highly recommend watching on TV if possible. Dundee should be clear for a while. Dundee is actually getting close to the cell it's in the Milan area. I'll go ahead and pull up our Dundee cam as well. Again, we have a network of 101 different weather cameras out there in the state of Michigan, and Dundee has a really good view on this cell as it's rolling down M50 right now. Just turning the camera before I get it situated. Making sure I'm not missing anything here. So again, this is this cell right here, going right down Day Road at Far Road. And that again is a mile into Monroe County on the Monroe-Lenawee County line between Britain and Dundee. Here is the live view of our Dundee cam. You can see the cloud bases on these are very high up today. Call them elevated storms. It's also somewhat drier at the surface. The dew point's only in the 50s. They're now looking north. This is pretty much right in downtown Dundee. If you guys know where Dundee is at, been to Dundee many times, you probably recognize the roads right through here. This is on top of A&S Garage in Dundee, Michigan. Right in downtown. There's the dam there, and the river, and of course the storm, the center focal point of the screen. Any more flying cows tonight? There was never flying cows to begin with. I like the enthusiasm though. No, we're not in Kansas, so good news. Oakville Waltz, Milan Oakville Road. These winds are now directly in downtown Oakville. Reading 47 miles per hour at 43 feet off the ground. So it looks like for the most part, these wind pockets that you see in here are quite elevated. We're still getting winds gusting down to the surface, don't get me wrong, but these are not near severe at the current time. And I'm curious to see if if we start to see statements for hail, because I'm starting to see some decent pockets here of these reds and pinks on a reflectivity radar, which mind you is the one that shows this. This is our reflectivity radar, the intensity of the rain that's falling. GR2 automated software says hail estimated at 0.38 inches in diameter near Leghorn and Geiger Road. It is about 3 miles south of Ida. So if you're in the neighborhood of Ida and points south, let us know what you guys are seeing there if you're watching in chat. I see Linda says it is downpouring in Ida. Thank you very much, Linda. Showers and thunderstorms are still possible later tonight, but as I mentioned here early in the stream, we are really losing our moisture in tow of this cold front. And so it's going to be very dry out there the rest of the night. That's also why we have a special weather statement in effect up in northern Michigan. Fire weather is possible through the evening hours until the moisture does move back in overnight. Besides our pea-sized hail, as I keep mentioning here, guys, I'm not stressed whatsoever about these storms. Pea-sized hail and thunder and lightning, as long as you're taking your necessary measures to stay safe from thunder and lightning, and of course the occasional hail, there's really not a need to honestly be live right now, other than the fact that we're just showing you where these storms are at. And so we are just going to go ahead and probably wrap it up here in just a second. And I've been saying that for the last 30 minutes now, but I think now is that time. We're getting pretty close. Small hail downtown Ida. Thank you for the report there. Hail in Adrian as well. Thank you for that report. We also have an Adrian cam. Again, Lenawee County is pretty covered in terms of cameras, so I'll go ahead and pull in Adrian here. It's also pretty sunny behind the cold front. As I mentioned, a lot of dry air moving in, so we will see the sun come back out later tonight for many locations as the cold front moves through. So here's our Adrian cam. This is courtesy of two different sponsors at this location, Midas Auto Services and Adrian Sign. Those are the two companies responsible for sponsoring the camera here right in downtown Adrian. And if I recall correctly, that is the intersection of Beecher and 223. Specifically Business 223. So M52 and Beecher. A lot of you guys that live in the Adrian area know exactly where that is at. So next time you go by, make sure to wave. That cell is now passing off to the east. Hillsdale, not really. They didn't really get hit. They kind of got the start of the line of storms. The word to describe the storms that are out there now is garden variety. Again, obviously you do have some small hail starting to pop in there in Monroe County and of course in Adrian. But the hail size for severe is 1 inch in diameter. And right now you guys are reporting pea-sized hail. It is very far from severe limits at the current time. So right now we are just watching storms that are not severe, only in Lenawee and Monroe counties at the current time. If you are north of there, cold front is over you guys or about to be very soon. And so if you are north of Lenawee and Monroe counties, you guys are in the all clear for the evening. As a reminder, storms are still possible, just not Excuse me, not expected to be severe in nature. So we've been live for about 2 hours and 12 minutes now. If you missed everything that's happened in the stream so far, we had one severe thunderstorm warning for Oakland County. That was it. They did verify a 1-inch hail report there, which verifies the severe thunderstorm warning. And we've had 3 or 4 different special weather statements that have not really amounted to anything so far that we've seen behind the scenes. So been a pretty low-end event. Quite the storms over there in Ontario, though. That is absolutely a severe thunderstorm if you are south of Chatham. Again, that's in Ontario, though. But this is pretty grungy in nature, in garden variety, as I keep saying. I just don't want to jinx it, if you know what I mean. Just don't want to leave the live, but that's really honestly the only reason why I haven't jumped off yet, is I just don't want to jinx it. Also want to shout out our mods and chasers, of course, for being out there today. Appreciate you guys so very much. Again, we had Austin out there, we have Freddie, Mike, Tyler. Some of their cameras have kind of cut in and out. But again, shout out to you guys as well for being out there. And it's always fun when we have a day where it's nothing's going on. We guys kind of just hang out, just chill. And that's kind of what this afternoon has been, besides that one severe thunderstorm warning. So pinks continue to increase in Monroe. Which, as a reminder, pinks mean very heavy rain droplets. GR2 automated software estimating hail size of 0.36 inches in diameter, which is between mothball and pea size in Monroe, or south of Monroe, I should say. So between Monroe and Luna Pier. That's about it. That cell's going to be on Lake Erie here in the next 10 or so minutes, easily. Thumb-sized... Oh, okay. I saw thumb-sized hair on our Facebook stream. Some thumb-sized hail southeast of Adrian. Depends on how big your thumbs are. That could vary by size. Some people have some pretty big thumbs. So mine's probably, I'm just eyeballing it here, 0.4 inches. So that would make sense in terms of kind of what the automated software is picking up on here. It is hailing in Monroe, says Caitlin. Thank you for that. How big is the hailstones in Monroe? Go ahead and click over to my POSH radar, which probability of significant hail, not showing any signs of severe hail. So our Riverview cam, I believe, has a view on this just a little bit. Now I can finally use it. There you go. Courtesy, once again, of Electronic Tech Solutions over there in the Riverview, Michigan area. So that is looking to the southeast. Nope, that is a totally different storm. There are a couple other cells in the Willow, Flat Rock, and Gibraltar area that are on camera right now. So not the storm that we're wanting to see in Monroe County, but still a storm nonetheless. And once again, if you'd like to sponsor a weather camera, it's a one-time payment, but you are helping out your community for weather coverage. And of course, as always, it is exposure-based advertising for your business in front of hundreds of thousands to even millions of Michiganders. So it's a good advertising opportunity for your business if you'd like to sponsor a weather camera. contact@michiganstormchasers.com is the email to reach out to. West Monroe, lightning, thunder, no hail. Tara, Monroe, thunder, lightning, and rain. Okay. We're kind of playing it by street here. I think Kalen, you must be on the south side of Monroe here, because look at where our reds and pinks are located. Again, all really south of Dunbar at the current time. Austin's down there in Milan right now. He's on the edge of the rain curtain. He's kind of right on the edge of the front. And of course, we have Mike out there. He's in Dundee. He's in the middle of it, and he's heading through Ida, I believe, right now, according to his spotter dot. And he does have a view on the Monroe cell, so that is it right there. Just turn to scan. This reception's a little spotty there, but you can see the cell off to the left side of the screen. Frenchtown Township, dark clouds, lots of thunder and lightning, not much for rain. Thank you very much, Nikita. If you're just joining us, not a whole lot going on out there. We're just watching Lenawee and Monroe County, making sure that they're all in the all clear. And I'm, at this point, pretty convinced that we're not going to get a severe thunderstorm warning out of these storms unless we get a sudden downburst, which we'll check out our Doppler radar at the airport just to make sure there's no downbursts out there. And there are a couple pockets of wind, but most of these pockets of wind still well below severe limits of 50 miles per hour or less. Don't get me wrong, once again, 50 mile per hour winds are 50 mile per hour winds. That's not severe. And so, again, it's just take your necessary precautions, secure your loose objects, and then you'll be good. Maybe Mike's looking at a different storm. Mike could be looking at south of Petersburg, although that doesn't look that impressive on radar. The wind core there, though, does. Here is, by the way, an update on the Riverview cam. Starting to see more structure popping up. This is, again, looking from Riverview, Electronic Tech Solutions, southwest. There's a cell right now in the Willow area that is what we're seeing on radar, and some pretty decent looking rain curtains there too on the left side of the screen. This is absolutely a tale of two sides. Yeah, this is not appearing to go severe. Whoa, we just zoomed in so far. All right. Well, with Monroe kind of getting in on the action last here, obviously we still have a couple of showers and thunderstorms out there across this area in southeast Michigan. There has not been any additional statements issued, and from what we're hearing from your guys' reports, it's only been pea-sized hail, so that is well below severe limits. With that being said, I believe we're going to hop off for now. Obviously, if we just get a warning to pop in here for a quick 5 minutes or so, we'll obviously come back in. We're not going anywhere. We'll be watching behind the scenes, but please stay safe out there. A lot of thunder and lightning still ongoing across southeast Michigan. Make sure to wait 30 minutes until those storms do go by. And again, if you do hear thunder or see lightning, head indoors, stay inside. And as always, stay tuned to our page here at Michigan Storm Chasers for more radar updates and perhaps more live streams later today. As always, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and of course now TikTok as well has live streams that you can watch on. Our username on all those platforms is at MIStormChasers. And as a reminder for everyone here, every little bit does help if you would like to support us on Patreon for as little as $2.99 a month and get earlier access to daily forecasts, zoomed in regional maps, private chat, and more. Again, only $2.99 per month. If you're going to buy a subscription and forget about it, just like you do with your Netflix subscription, do it for Michigan Storm Chasers. And then that way you can support operations here at MSC. It allows us to fund operations 365 days a year. And of course, put up more weather cameras, fund our weather app that's coming in. There's a lot of expenses that we would love to get handled so we can give our ideas back to you guys here, the general public. So everything helps. Feel no need to, of course, but as always, it is an option. So again, patreon.com/Michigan Storm Chasers is there for you guys to check out if you do feel inclined to do so. Once again, I am Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma signing off for now. If you're in Monroe County, keep an eye out for those lightning bolts and rumbles of thunder. Stay safe out there. And again, shout out to our chasers who are out there right now, finishing up their chases for this afternoon. Appreciate you guys for being out there, and we'll talk later, everyone. Part 2 coverage coming. We'll see. But for now, we'll hop off, and either way, we'll talk to you guys soon, whether or not it's a severe live stream or just a briefing. We'll see you soon. And as always, continue to follow us here at Michigan Storm Chasers. Have a great rest of your afternoon.